Welcome to the village of Prey Nor, part of a community of thousands in rural northern Cambodia. Locals have gathered here today to help assemble biosand water filters, a simple, long-lasting technology that biologically removes bacteria and viruses, creating clean drinking water. Rotarians Eric Vanderberg and Rithi Ann of Sustainable Communities Cambodia are here too, helping the locals to construct and install the filters.
The fantastic thing about these filters is that it only costs around about $60 in total to purchase all the materials required to build one filter. And what we've been doing is actually getting the village families that want the filter to pay a very, very small amount, approximately $2.50 Australian. Now, what that does is it gives them a greater sense of ownership. Another fantastic aspect of them building these themselves is that they've got a great understanding of how they actually work. They know how they're put together from the ground up, so they understand what's involved, what's inside, they know how to clean it. They get a really good grasp on how to look after these things. What that actually gives these people is up to 25 years of clean drinking water. At the end of the day, they also feel more empowered. They feel like they're helping themselves rather than Santa Claus turning up and just giving them something. To date, we've implemented around about 50 filters in these villages, but there's still so much more that needs to be done. In total, we've got around about 771 families across the 3 villages, and most of them don't have access to clean drinking water still to this day.
Welcome to Cambodia, a place rich in culture and with a long and varied history. Though the country is starting to flourish after years of genocide, war and turmoil, many rural communities have been left behind, having no access to clean water, food and reliable employment. Eric and Rithi have been working with these communities to help achieve the basic human rights that they deserve.
So Sustainable Communities Cambodia is an international aid project which works towards helping impoverished Cambodian rural communities to become sustainable and self-sufficient. To achieve this, we focus on firstly providing water sources to give the people access to clean, safe drinking water. Secondly, agriculture to create a sustainable food source, and a spin-off to that is also later on, once they've got enough food for themselves, they can create an income for the communities. And thirdly, we aim to improve the access and quality of education.
Inspired by Rotarians Gerhard and Rithi's water project in a rural Cambodian community, Eric met with them to see how he could help. Rithi told him of a group of villages in the far north of the country who suffered a similar plight. Eric travelled to these villages and to see what solutions could be provided. It was then that Eric decided to start Sustainable Communities Cambodia to help more communities, using the success of Gerhard and Rithi's projects as a blueprint.
Basically, when Rithi first came across these villages, the people were all rather sick, and he actually took some out to the doctors to try and figure out what was wrong with them. And he actually found that the cause of their sickness was the arsenic contamination in the river water which they were drinking from. The river actually passes through many communes before it gets to here, so you can imagine with animals and people bathing in the water and doing their business, cleaning, washing dishes, you can imagine the level of all sorts of contamination, E. coli, they were getting cholera, they were getting all sorts of nasty illnesses from drinking the river water, so they needed to find a solution.
In finding a solution, SCC have been helping to provide rainwater harvesting tanks and biosand water filters in these villages.
This is one of the concrete rainwater harvesting tanks. Basically, during the wet season, it harvests the rainwater that comes off the tin roofs of the little houses here. One of these tanks has enough capacity to hold 5,000 litres of water, which is enough to get a family through the dry season. The locals actually construct these, which is actually a key part of the project. Basically, they take a lot more ownership when they do it themselves, and they also, it keeps the men in the villages and keeps them from going off and doing illegal construction work in Thailand, so it's a lot safer as well. With these water tanks, they're actually able to live a much more healthier life. The communities have got a plot of land available to them which is around 200 hectares. Currently it is riddled with landmines, so we're working with the local governments to try and expedite the clearing of this particular plot of land, then so we can clear it, set it up for agriculture, dig an irrigation channel, provide some pumps, hoses, which will enable the land to be utilised for agriculture. Then we're going to provide some training and resources to enable the men of the villages to farm the land, which will create two things. One is food, a sustainable food source for the communities, so they won't need as much money. Number two, they will actually be able to produce ample food, more than they need, and sell at markets also to create an income for the community.
Rithi, who is a pig farmer himself, has been training locals in agricultural methods in both these villages and other communities that need help.
I have to learn what is a very necessities for the local people, especially for the poor communities. This is what the word that I always told people, we don't keep giving, but we keep training. So for me, I am very happy to give up my time to drive like more than 500 kilometers away to look after them and to train them, to give them more technology.
The third step is improving access to and the quality of education for these communities, from providing bikes to helping to build new schools.
There is only one primary school in their communities with more than 5,000 people. Just only one primary school. That's from year 1 to year 6. So when the children pass year 6, they have to leave the school, because education is the backbone to develop everything. That's I always say education, but I don't say education. I just say book and pen or pencil can change the whole world. If they can get a good education, I am sure their life would be much better than mine.
Sustainable Communities Cambodia uses a proven model following the great success of Rithi and Gerhard's earlier water project.
Like for the whole year round, you will hear the funeral music. There's people plays for funeral ceremony. As I said, about 6 or 7 people die a year. But through the Brighton Rotary Club, when they build the rainwater harvesting, we put the clean water projects in this community so far. I came here for 3 years, no one died. And this is what I say, I'm very, very glad that whether big amount or small amount that we can help people.
These new communities in the north have populations of thousands, not hundreds, so a lot more work needs to be done. But progress is possible.
Another great thing about the model is that once we've gotten these villages to a point of self-sustainability, the same concept can be applied to other impoverished communities throughout Cambodia, perhaps Asia and even the rest of the world.
The inspiring and vital work of Sustainable Communities Cambodia cannot be achieved without the support and donations of kind benefactors, with every cent going directly to the cause.
One of the great things about these rainwater harvesting tanks is the costs and the value. So basically, because it's done through Rotary, every single dollar that gets donated actually goes to the cause.